Nevada, a land of vast deserts, endless skies, and secrets that do not stay buried. It is the kind of place where shadows stretch long, and the wind seems to carry more than just dust. But some parts of Nevada are not just remote, they feel like they are watching you, waiting. Or worse, calling something back. Tonight, we are not just exploring places you are following. 3 stories. 3 anomalies. 3 questions that science can't fully answer. A sinkhole that is growing without reason. A forgotten town that disappeared from history. And a steel door in the desert that might not even be a door. So settle in. Take a deep breath. Maybe keep a light on. Because what you are about to hear is a marked mystery. Some places just feel wrong. Not because of what happened there, but because of what keeps happening quietly, constantly, and without logic. In the deserts of southern Nevada, not far from the old nuclear test sites, there is a hole in the ground. Locals call it the Devil's Throat. It is not a nickname for something spooky. It is what it feels like when you stand near it. Something ancient. Something broken. Something waiting. Let us rewind. In the 1940s, during routine aerial surveys of the area near Lake Mead, a small dip in the desert was spotted. A depression in the earth. No big deal. This was a region already scarred by atomic detonations. Cracks, heat fractures, even small collapses were common. So it was ignored. But the hole did not stay small. By the 1970s, that dip had become a sinkhole about 20 feet wide and 30 feet deep. And it has not stopped growing since. Today, it is over 200 feet across and nearly 100 feet deep. And here's where it gets weird. There is no water erosion, no underground caves, no mining activity, no fault lines. This area is what geologists call a dead zone. Stable. And yet, this hole just keeps expanding. People who visit the Devil's Throat do not just leave with stories, they leave changed. Some report sudden dizziness, nausea, or pressure in their ears. Others say they feel a strange buzzing in their feet, like standing on a low-frequency speaker. Cameras glitch out. Radios catch weird interference, static or garbled signals in languages no one can recognize. One geophysicist visited in 1994. In his field journal, he wrote, "The closer I got, the more my instruments drifted. My altimeter showed negative elevation. My compass spun sideways." He tried to save his data, but every reading zeroed out. No backups. No logs. Just blank files. He never returned to the site. A year later, he died suddenly from a stroke. He was only 42. Coincidence? Maybe. But he is not the only one who has had something go wrong after standing near the edge. In 2013, an explorer known online as Rensfield uploaded a video titled "Devil's Throat Recording, No Commentary." It was simple. GoPro footage of him walking toward the edge, lowering an audio recorder about 30 feet down. No narration. Just wind. Then silence. And then, a sound, a deep, rhythmic hum. Not mechanical organic. Like breathing. But deeper. Like a building, taking a breath. At 2 minutes and 12 seconds, there is a whisper. Not English. Not even clearly human. The frequency was irregular. The waveform did not match any known pattern. Then cut. The audio ends abruptly. Rensfield posted the clip to a fringe geology forum. Within 36 hours, his YouTube channel was gone. Not just deleted, wiped. The forum file, also missing. The admin claimed it vanished from the server entirely. Rensfield has not posted since. Despite everything, there is no perimeter around the Devil's Throat. No official geological warnings. Just a rusty metal sign that reads, "Hazardous area. Do not approach," but people still do. In 2018, 2 amateur hikers tried to descend using climbing gear. They made it about 50 feet down. Then one of them screamed, claiming he saw wolves below. Not desert wolves. These were pale. Thin. He scrambled back up, shaking. The other stayed down for 90 more seconds. When he came out, he was confused. Disoriented. His watch said he had been down there for 4 hours. He swore it had only been 2 minutes. Neither of them will talk about it publicly anymore. Sinkholes usually come from one of three things: the groundwater erosion, around mining, fault line activity. But the devil's throat, none of those apply. There are no caverns, no water tables, no history of mining, and no seismic records indicating instability. Geologists who study the area describe it as inert, meaning geologically dead. So how is the hole growing? Things get even more surreal when you dig into recent accounts. In 2021, a tourist claimed she heard her own voice calling her name from inside the hole. Another said she saw her face reflected in the sand, but the reflection blinked out of sync. Then there is the tech failures. Drones lose signal, GPS malfunctions, radios fill with static or strange echoes. Some hikers hear their own footsteps behind them, matching their stride, but slightly delayed. Below 70 feet, every piece of equipment fails. Every single. Geologists can't scan past that depth. It is like something is pushing back against sound, signal, maybe even time. Is it a sinkhole, a tear in the earth, a pocket of wrongness? We do not know. But here's what we do know. It is growing. It is silent. It is hungry not for matter but for certainty. And it is not alone, because just 150 miles away, in another part of Nevada's desert, there is a town that vanished, not just physically, but in time. And that is where we go next. Nevada is full of ghost towns. Most are just broken buildings, leftover dreams, and the rusted bones of a gold rush gone dry. But Ione is different. This town is not just dead. It forgot how to be alive. And for a little over a decade, it vanished from history completely. Founded in 1863, Ione had all the signs of a booming mining town. 600 residents, multiple saloons, a newspaper, even a courthouse. For a while, it was the county seat of Nye County. Then came 1872, and just like that, nothing. For 12 straight years, Ione disappears from state records. No census reports, no tax rolls, no building permits, no death certificates, no property claims. It is like the entire town got scrubbed from history. In 1884, it reappears. But now with fewer people, fewer buildings, and no explanation. No fire, no flood, no plague, just silence. You would think something this strange would be investigated. But even today, no official explanation exists. Even local historians avoid the topic. Ask them about Ione's missing years, and they change the subject. Some say the desert swallowed it. Others say it never left, just folded inward. And the people who still visit, they say something waits there. Something that listens. In 1971, 2 college students from the University of Nevada tried to investigate the town. Their goal: record unusual acoustics reports of echo delays, reverse playback, or audio distortion near abandoned mining towns. They camped near the ruins of the old post office. First night, nothing strange. Second night, at 2:13 a.m., one of them woke up to laughter. Children's voices. First faint, then right outside the tent. He stepped out. His partner was missing. 6 hours later, he was found asleep inside the tent, sitting upright, caked in dry mud. Barefoot. No memory of leaving. But he kept repeating the same words. It was not silence. It was waiting. Their tape recorder had kept running all night. At first, just wind, tent flaps, bugs, then voices. Not theirs. The recorder played responses to questions before they were asked. At the end of the file, a soft whisper asked, "Why are you still here?" The students dropped the project. Neither returned to the site. We left off with 2 students and a haunted tape. But they were not the last to visit Ione, and certainly not the last to leave confused. Over the years, more explorers have stepped into Ione's silence, and each time, something echoes back. In 1996, a sound engineer named Dale Farrell brought advanced acoustic sensors to Ione. His goal was to map echo patterns near the courthouse ruins. What he found, though, was not just abnormal, it was impossible. In front of the courthouse steps, there was a zone where sound just Vanished. He clapped his hands. No echo. Spoke aloud. No return. Even his sensitive microphones failed to detect reflections. His equipment recorded fluctuations in ambient sound pressure, spikes, dips, and complete dropouts. In his final report, he wrote, "The silence is not passive, it is structured." He never went back. Some theorize Ione sits on a natural acoustic anomaly, like a perfectly shaped basin of underground minerals that refracts sound in unexpected ways. Others say it is mass suggestion, desert madness, a shared psychological illusion. But geological surveys show the region is stable. No seismic activity, no magnetic distortion, just a town that by all logic should not be there anymore. In 2015, a photographer visited the town for a historical series. As she walked through the ruins, she hummed to herself nothing unusual. Later, when reviewing her voice recorder, she heard the humming. Before she hit record, another visitor, a solo hiker, claimed he heard a child's voice yell, "You are not supposed to be here." He passed out. When he woke up, he was 3 miles from his car. No memory of walking. 3 hours gone. No fences. No patrols. Just abandoned structures and dry wind. But Ione does not feel like it fell apart. It feels like it was folded away, like something placed it in storage. Visitors describe the town as paused, as if the air itself is holding its breath. And if that sounds too strange to believe, ask yourself this. How does a town with confirmed 19th century records just vanish for 12 years with no trace? How do voices answer before you speak? Maybe Ione is not haunted. Maybe it is a memory that refuses to be fully remembered. And just when you think you have heard it all, there is one more mystery waiting deeper in the desert. A place that makes even Ione feel normal by comparison. Because what if there is something out there that does not even pretend to be natural? Some doors lead to homes, some to bunkers, some to nowhere. But every once in a while, a door appears that does not seem to connect to anything. That is what a group of amateur cartographers found in 2017, hidden in plain sight, deep in the Nevada desert. A smooth, steel blue square. No hinges, no frame, no bolts. Just a featureless metallic surface embedded in the cracked white floor of Desert Dry Lake No. 4. No road leads to it. No trail surrounds it. And it moves. June 2017. A group of enthusiasts on a private geomapping forum were tracking unusual shadow patterns in the Nellis Range, a restricted military area near the infamous Area 51. One user spotted a blue object, a perfect square, about 10 feet across, slightly sunken into the lake bed. It did not match any known structure. No maps referenced it. No permits or government records existed. So they kept watching. Over the next 6 months, members observed something deeply unsettling. The object shifted locations. Only by a few meters at a time, but definitely moving. By 2020, it had already changed position 3 times. What is this thing? Some thought it was a hatch. Others, a sensor array. A few suggested it might be a disguised entrance to an underground facility. But then came the field reports. In early 2020, 4 explorers set out to find the door in person. They hiked over 14 miles on foot, carrying drones, cameras, and emergency comms. One of them, Cole Harper, age 28, went ahead solo, sending his drone ahead to scout. At 9:16 p.m., his radio cut out mid-sentence. His last recorded words, "It is not flush, there is something under." Then, static. Rescue teams found nothing at the last known location. No drone. No gear. Just Cole's satellite phone, intact, lying 2 kilometers away. Only one video file remained on the device, 42 seconds long. It shows Cole's hand brushing across a flat, metallic surface. Smooth. Seamless. Almost soft. And in the final frame, just before the image blurs, you can make out a reflection. Not of the sky, not of Cole, but of something standing behind him. Engineers reviewing the footage were baffled. "It does not look manufactured," one anonymous source said. "It looks poured. Like it was formed in place." Satellite analysts noted something even weirder. On clear days, The door absorbs almost all visible light. It has a 0.01 reflectivity rating, darker than a black hole in the visible spectrum. Infrared scans, nothing. The object does not emit heat. It does not retain heat. In technical terms, it is invisible to thermal imaging, or worse, it may not exist in the way we understand matter to exist. A now deleted blog from 2021 included an entry by a retired park ranger. He claimed to have seen the same metallic door in 1989, but in a different location. He walked past it in a salt flat, noted it, came back with colleagues 2 days later and it was gone. No indentation, no marks, just empty salt pan. Then there was the 2022 incident, a long-distance hiker who snapped a photo of the lake bed. The door was visible in the shot, but so was something else. A ring of perfectly spaced holes spiraling outward from it like ventilation, or a pattern. His GPS glitched for 8 full minutes. When his phone signal returned, he was over 1.7 miles east. No memory of walking. No footage recorded. Desert Dry Lake Number 4 sits inside the Nellis Test and Training Range, a known site for classified drills and electronic warfare simulations. But no official installations exist in that zone. Military aircraft avoid it. Pilots report temporary loss of navigation. There is no road, no infrastructure, no bunker. Just an object that does not belong to any known technology, material, or time. And yet it moves. Every few months, new satellite scans show minor changes in position. Always within the same lake bed. Always within the same general radius. But it is never still for long. And never fully gone. So, let us recap. A sinkhole that defies all known geological science. A town that disappears from memory and maybe time. And a steel door that does not connect to anything we can understand. Different places. Different anomalies. But there is a common thread here. Something subtle, but chilling. Distortion. Of time. Of sound. Of memory. Of physical law. Each location breaks something we take for granted. The Devil's Throat eats signals. Ione plays with sound like a symphony written backwards. The steel door may not even be real, at least not in our terms. Nevada does not just hide mysteries, it redefines them. So now, we leave the desert. But the stories stay with us. What do you think is happening out there? Which mystery got under your skin? The throat? The town? Or the door? Let us know in the comments and tell us where we should go next. Because some places whisper, others echo, but a few, they carry a marked mystery. It is one thing to hear ghost stories around a campfire. It is another to read reports dry, scientific, fact-checked, and it is something else entirely to stand in a place where reality itself seems unsure of its footing. These 3 Nevada mysteries, the Devil's Throat, Ione, and the Blue Door at Desert Dry Lake Number 4, are not just local legends or viral posts. They are documented, tracked, investigated. And yet, they do not resolve. They resist explanation the way some dreams fade as you wake. Too detailed to ignore, but just out of reach. And maybe that is the point. Think about this. The Devil's Throat is not expanding because something is collapsing beneath it. It is growing in a geologically dead zone. That is like fire starting in a vacuum. There is no water erosion, no seismic fault, no mining tunnel. Just dry, ancient land and a hole that keeps getting wider, deeper, darker. Instruments fail. Signals vanish. Time slips. What if it is not a geological anomaly at all? What if it is a system failure in the code of reality itself? We assume the rules of physics always apply. That time flows forward. That light behaves predictably. That a compass points north. But what if Nevada has a few places where those assumptions glitch? And maybe that is why people feel sick near the rim. Why radios scream static. Why one hiker swore he saw wolves below, but the next man lost 4 hours in the same descent. The Devil's Throat does not behave like a sinkhole. It behaves like a memory hole, like something trying to delete itself from the landscape. And failing. Ghost towns die for clear reasons. Boom and bust cycles, resource depletion, harsh weather. But Ione, Ione died, came back, and never explained where it went. 12 years missing. No fire. No plague. Just blank. What happens when a community folds not physically but temporally? Where do you go when the years do not record you? And then, when people return, when they try to document what is left, sound behaves wrong, answers come before questions. Voices repeat after 7 seconds. Tape decks play things no one remembers saying. Theories are easy to throw out. Acoustic anomalies. Underground caverns. Collective hallucinations. But what if it is not in our heads? What if the town itself is not broken, but the timeline is? Ione might be a scar in time. A loop. A skipped groove in the record of the world, and maybe some of its residents, those who stayed too long, are still stuck there. Waiting. Let us talk about the door again. A perfect steel square. No bolts. No rust. No path. Found in the middle of a dry lake bed, in an off-limits military zone. But not part of that zone. No maps. No mentions. No heat signature. It is not just unknown. It is unclassifiable. It moves, but not randomly. It reflects nothing. It corrupts GPS data. It hides its material signature. And then there is what Cole Harper saw, or did not see before his radio cut out, his hand on the surface. A reflection that was not his own. Think about that. The door may not lead anywhere in our world. Or maybe it is the destination. A marker. A boundary line. Something waiting to be triggered. Some have compared it to niche interfaces, thin spaces where alternate realities might brush against our own. Not portals. Not wormholes. Just intersections. Unmapped. Unwarned. And still active. The spiral holes around it. The temperature anomalies. The time glitches. If the blue door is a piece of machinery, then it is built with an understanding of space-time that we simply do not possess. And if it is not machinery, then it might be something worse. Nevada's full of secrets. Military bases. UFO legends. Burned-out mining towns. But the stories you just heard are not myths. They are patterns. Each one reveals a break in our assumptions. That geology is predictable. That time is linear. That space behaves consistently. Each location forces us to ask, what if something out here is studying us? Not aliens, not ghosts, just fields of distortion so old they have stopped trying to be understood. Forces that interact with memory, attention, emotion. Places where physics does not fail, it mutates. Here's the thing. We do not need every mystery to be solved. That is not the point. Some doors are meant to be opened. Some are meant to stay closed. And some, they are already open. The devil's throat is still expanding. Ione is still silent. And the steel door has not moved in 5 months. But that might not be a good thing. What if these places are not isolated? What if they are connected? Not physically, but conceptually. A network of glitches. A web of places where the rules we live by are suspended. If so, Nevada is not just a desert. It is a testing ground. And we are the ones being tested. 3 places. 3 stories. 3 points on a map that lead nowhere, or maybe they lead exactly where you are afraid to go. So now it is your turn. Which one disturbed you the most? Was it the bottomless pit that eats signals and time? The ghost town that forgot it was real? Or the door that stares back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every one. And tell us, which state should we explore next? Because some places whisper, others echo. But the rarest ones, they carry a marked mystery.